Hi, I'm Angela, and I have a library haul for y'all today. The library is really one of my safe spaces. I am very fortunate to have a beautiful, amazing library. It's truly one of the most beautiful places architecturally. It has a great view of the city, and I went this weekend, stopped by to get one of my holds and to pick up some books that I'm reading this month, and I'd like to share them with you all. So those are the books behind me. Let me get them to show you. It's quite a lot of books, but they're not too big, so the pile is actually quite nice. Let me start with the book that I had a hold on. This is one of my 2023 anticipated reads, and it is The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff. First, let me apologize for holding it at such a weird angle. Y'all know the films on library books do not work well with reflections, so we're trying to keep this at this angle. But The Bandit Queens, to my knowledge, is about a woman who has been accused of murdering her husband, and she uses that rumor to her advantage. But then when women start coming to her asking for her advice on how to get rid of their husbands, then she finds herself in a bit of a sticky situation. I'm not really sure yet on the tone of this book because, we're dealing with death, so it's not going to be super lighthearted, but every review on the back says it's witty, hilarious. It's kind of like maybe a Finley Donovan type of getting rid of people situation. So I'm hoping this will be a lighter read, but I'm anticipating that there will be some kind of bigger messages behind this. The rest of these books have been on my TBR for a while, and that's one of my goals for 2023 is to really stick to reading what is on my TBR. So it's Three Rooms by Joe Hamya, and first, the cover. Let's take a moment of silence for the cover. It's gorgeous. And this follows a woman's life through the places that she's lived. So what drew me to this book is that it sounded like it would be kind of a character study focusing on our one character throughout different moments of her life that really impacted her as a person, were significant. And I really like stories like that because they tend to be really short, punchy, impactful, to the point. The next book I picked up is No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. Now, this book, I've tried so hard to try to find a synopsis for what this book is about, and all of them have just served to confuse me even more. So this book is about a woman known for her viral social media posts. She travels the world to speak to her adoring fans, and she's overwhelmed by navigating the new language and etiquette of what she terms, quote-unquote, the portal, where she grapples with an unshakable conviction that a vast chorus of voices is now dictating her thoughts. So I think what initially got me about this book is that it seemed almost sci-fi, almost speculative. I love that border in between what is real world and what is not, and what is maybe slightly fantasy or slightly sci-fi. So I think this talk of portals and choruses of voices in her head really got me. I really still don't know what this book is about, honestly, and I'll probably tell you after I finish it, but definitely not before. The next book I am so excited about. It's Woman Eating by Claire Coda. This book is about a woman. She's hungry for just about every type of cuisine, except she seems to be only able to consume blood. Now this book is just relatable. Listen, I love to eat. It's one of my other hobbies besides reading, and if I were only able to consume blood and I had a plate of sushi, a bowl of noodles in front of me, I'd be pissed. And I also love a vampire story. I'm trying to get back into my vampire era. I was a real vampire girly back when it was Twilight and all the young adult fantasies, and I kind of abandoned that a little bit as I've gotten back into reading, but no more. We're going back to the vampires, and hopefully this literary fiction vampire story crossover will really suit me well. The next book is one that I've been hearing about everywhere, and it's When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. This follows a woman who is going back to her small hometown in the South to attend her friend's wedding, and this town has a very racist past and present, so she has to kind of confront that as she's going back to her hometown. This, for some reason, I remember is horror, or maybe it's mystery suspense. It's somewhere in that genre, and it definitely also has a lot of discussions on modern racism, especially since she's specifically going back to her best friend's wedding that's on a plantation. But a lot of people I follow have been talking about this book, and the premise is really intriguing to me, so when the reckoning comes. The next book I have is Athena by Nino Cipri. I believe I first saw this book on My Honest channel. I'll have her channel linked in the comments, in the descriptions. It's like I've forgotten how YouTube works. This book I remember as being described as horror store but better. So Grady Hendrix' Horror Store was an like IKEA based horror novel. And this book is about an elderly customer who gets sucked into this other dimension in this big box furniture store, and the employees have to track this customer down and rescue the customer because, you know, kind of bad for business. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I believe this book is lighter in tone than Horror Store is. It is more, I think, sci-fi leaning, and there is a line about friendship blossoming, so I assume it can't be that scary, but I'm excited to check this one out. And the final book of the bunch is The Baddest Girl on the Planet by Heather Fries. And this is another one of those books where I believe it's just following the life of a person. So it's following the life of a woman living in this small town where everyone kind of had very low expectations of her, and she's had a lot of really tough things thrown her way, and I believe it's just following her story. These kind of books are really hard to pitch and tell you all about, especially if I haven't read it, because what can I really say besides it's about a person and it's about their life. I love stories that are really just character studies, and not a lot has to go on plot-wise for it to be interesting to me. Like recently I just read Paradise by Fernanda Melchor, and that book doesn't have a ton going on plot-wise, especially linear plot-wise, but it was still one of the most interesting books that I've read, and I find myself really liking that genre. So I hope that this will kind of serve in a similar way. So that was my short little library haul of short little books. Let me know if you all have read any of the books that I talked about today, and if you like them or not, or your thoughts in general about them. I'm definitely super excited, honestly, to read all of these. And I'll let y'all know which ones are worth reading and which ones aren't in my February wrap-up, where I will again be tackling the wrap-up pyramid. If you want to see more from me, I have my Instagram and Goodreads linked in the description, where I do a lot more book reviews, especially on my Goodreads now, where I have like a sentence book review of every single book I've read, so check that out. And I also have a TikTok where I'm posting my 1 book a day challenge, where I read 1 book every single day in February. Yes, it's insane. Yes, I don't know why I took on this challenge. But yeah, that's also linked in the description if you want to check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.